Good afternoon, welcome to Grain TV. My name is Cody Bills, this is Brock Shimano. Today is October 9th, a Wednesday. Let's turn right over to the Fire Tip trading platform, see where we closed off the day here. Corn ended up trading up 1 3/4 cents, soybeans down a penny, wheat in Chicago down 3 cents, and Kansas City wheat trading off 1.5 cents. Really kind of a sleepy day in Chicago here. The only thing that really had significant movement here was the dollar index, which was up very sharply, and that was on the heels of the news that Obama nominated Janet Yellen to the Fed chairman to replace Ben Bernanke when his term expires January 31st, 2014. And I think Janet Yellen, the market perceives her as potentially favoring the low interest rate policy that we've seen. Really very similar to Bernanke, so no significant changes here most likely to that monetary policy. I think it will be a relatively seamless transition, at least from what we've read here at Grain Hedge. Now, Brock, one thing that we've looked at here, corn, soybeans, and wheat, it's been very sleepy here lately. Obviously, the government shutdown is causing a lot of that. But we did get news out today from the Energy Information Administration. What did we see?
You know, that is one item that was keeping a little bit of pressure on any corn rally here today. We did see ethanol production output off by about 7,000 barrels per day here, down to 868,000 barrels per day. Something else to note, though, coming out of that report is that stocks were actually at a 3-year low of right around 15.39 billion barrels of stocks. So, million barrels of stocks. So that's something we're going to have to pay attention to. Are we going to have to replenish the stocks as we get more harvest crop coming into the ethanol plants? We're going to be able to rebuild those stocks. So that's something we'll look for in the future here. You know, that dollar index, like you were talking about, was up sharply today. I think that added a little bit of pressure to the markets. But then we also had private analyst Landworth come out and they increased their overall crop production for both corn. They increased that to 13.7 billion bushels anticipated, up from 13.5. And they also increased soybean production up by about 38 million bushels there. So we are getting all these little bits of information that we are getting across the news wires that are keeping some pressure on the markets. I anticipate the markets moving forward here to move sideways to mostly just a little bit lower here in the coming weeks. You know, something else that we did see today was, as it pertains to export sales, you know, tomorrow normally we do get the export sales report. That's going to be delayed once again with the government shutdown continuing. One bit of information we did get, a little bit of a rumor, was that China was in the market buying some corn here today.
Yeah, and you know, I think that's a thing that might actually cause the market to move here once the government actually finally gets back up and running and starts reporting export sales. Now, as we know, typically the USDA reports any sales over 100,000 metric tons, and during this kind of blackout when the USDA is not keeping tally of export sales, I think it would be kind of an incentive for grain buyers out there to be able to lock in larger purchases without moving the market significantly. You know, the grain buyers, China in particular, out there, I mean, here we have a situation where their wheat prices have been relatively strong domestically in China, and really because of production problems that they've had. So they have domestic wheat prices that are higher. You know, corn and soybean prices continue to be higher due to strong demand and low stocks. The bottom line here is that it seems as though those margins between their domestic prices and our export prices, they're getting a little bit more favorable in terms of exporters. So not only do you have an economic demand or an economic incentive to be able to start buying U.S. grains, but you also have this kind of veil, this kind of fog, if you will, where participants, grain traders in the U.S. really can't see if any major sales have actually transacted. So I think that there's a big chance here that once we do finally get the USDA up and reporting, that we see that there have been sizable sales to China. I wouldn't be surprised. Of course, that's just this analyst's opinion.
You know, something else that did come across the news wires is, late in the day, was actually that Egypt's gas was in the market looking for some more wheat. They're looking for cargoes of up to 60,000 metric tons for shipment in late November. So that's something we're going to have to keep our eye on as well. But like you said, we're not going to be able to see if we actually do get some of those sales made here in the United States going to Egypt, especially you know, being over 100,000 metric tons like we normally would this time of year.
Yeah, and you know, right now it seems like we're trading weather. We're trading the fact that we are continuing harvest. Harvest is ramping up, and that continues to pressure prices. But you know, who knows? Once the USDA is back up and running, they may have some very favorable export sales that they report, and that may put a little bit of a bid under this market. We'll have to see, guys. If you have any questions about what we talked about today, give us a call at 877 472-4607. Remember, there is substantial risk of loss in trading futures and options is not appropriate for all investors. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll see you here later on.